Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about relationships and communication. Have you ever felt like a hamster on a wheel in a relationship, running with all you have only to end up where you started? That is what ineffective communication in a relationship feels like. In a relationship, communication often begins to break down when one partner consistently puts in more effort than the other. This imbalance creates emotional friction, as the more invested partner may feel undervalued, unseen, or even taken for granted. They may try to express their needs, more attention, emotional support, or shared responsibility. But if those messages aren't reciprocated or acknowledged, frustration and resentment can build. What starts as subtle emotional cues or soft complaints can escalate into recurring arguments or silence, both of which signify deeper unmet needs. Poor communication in relationships can feel like a hamster on a wheel, endlessly spinning, exhausting, and ultimately going nowhere. When one person consistently gives more, emotionally, mentally, or physically, while the other remains distant or unresponsive, the imbalance creates a cycle of frustration and disappointment. The more the giving partner tries to initiate conversations, solve problems, or maintain closeness, the more they feel trapped in a loop of unmet needs and unanswered efforts. Their energy is spent trying to keep the relationship moving forward, but without mutual effort, it becomes a one-sided chase with no destination in sight. On the other side, the less engaged partner might not even realize the full extent of the dissatisfaction. If they aren't as emotionally expressive or attuned to subtle changes in tone or body language, they might miss early signs of discontent. They could interpret the growing tension as nagging or overreacting, especially if they believe they're doing their best in their own way. This gap in perception, where one feels emotionally drained and the other feels blindsided, only widens the communication gap. Rather than working toward a mutual solution, both partners begin to retreat into their own interpretations and assumptions. This dynamic fosters resentment and emotional burnout. The person giving more starts to feel unheard and unappreciated, while the less communicative partner may withdraw even further, unaware or unwilling to address the growing gap. Just like the hamster, the giver is running as fast as they can, hoping to make progress. But the scenery never changes. Unless both partners step off the wheel and engage in open, honest, and reciprocal communication, the relationship risks wearing itself out through repetition and imbalance. So, what to do? Well, since you asked, there are a few things you can start with that will at least get you headed in a different direction. By the way, not talking is a form of communication and posturing. It is just ineffective communication. Maybe you never had an opportunity to see great communication in marriage play out, but here are a few ways you can start to engage in more meaningful communication. Start with a blame-free conversation. First, prepare for the conversation by writing down what the topics of that conversation will be, and do not deviate, but acknowledge with your partner that you will set another time to talk about a different issue that may come out of this conversation. Do not be dismissive. Second, choose a good time to talk, not when either of you are too tired, hungry, or still angry. 3. Agree on the topic beforehand, for example, finances, parenting, chores. 4. Set the intention. We're a team solving a problem, not opponents. 5. Take a few deep breaths or a short break if emotions are running high. 6. Use I statements instead of you statements, like, I feel overwhelmed when thus and so happens. 7. Stick to the current issue. Avoid bringing up unrelated past conflicts. 8. Listen actively without interrupting. 9. Ask, what can we do to fix this together? Instead of, whose fault is this? 10. Thank each other for staying calm and respectful. Communication in marriage should not be hard, but it must be had. Please leave a message in the comments below with any questions or comments you may have. Until next time, please know that every miscommunication is a chance to learn, not to blame.